Arsenal women are facing some big questions right now. Reports of a splintered dressing room, Ian Wright calling the situation damning, and Champions League setbacks that nobody saw coming. Today, we're breaking down what's real, what's exaggerated, and what it all means for the club moving forward. So let's start with the article that lit the fuse. A report from The Athletic claimed that Arsenal women's dressing room has been, quote, splintered for many years.
This week, an article came out in The Athletic, which was kind of pointing to deeper issues at Arsenal women. Mm-hmm. There's kind of no proper future planning and development for the women's team. No real strategy when it comes to transfers. Issues in the dressing room, including a hierarchy amongst players, cliques, some players being untouchable even if they aren't performing in training, sort of unrest amongst some of the players about their training and nutrition and, facilities. Lots of unnamed sources, lots of conjecture, I'm sure, but also a lot to...
Then Ian Wright stepped in, and he did not sugarcoat it. On the Crossways podcast, Wright said that even if half of the article is true, it's still pretty damning.
Yeah. And what they're saying, even if 50% of it is true, it's still pretty kind of like damning.
But while the outside world debated, head coach Renée Sleggers pushed back. Hard. She called the reports noise on the outside and said she feels very positive about what's happening internally.
I think we won the Champions League. I think historically Arsenal's been the most successful team in England, and there will be noise. There is noise, and there was an article, and that's all on the outside. We know what we're doing on the inside, and it's a high performance environment. So it's a very challenging environment. We demand a lot of things from each other, and it should be like that. I think if you go and have a look in any place internally, you see some really, really good things going on. But I think every group of people will have things that they have to manage and get through. I am very positive about where we are at, very positive, and I can say that full-hearted.
I think first and foremost, to acknowledge the article that obviously you're referencing, read it, and I think take a lot of it in a way that's personal. I think whenever there's something reflective of the club that's externally considered noise, I think you have to look at it in a way that, it's not what we want, but I think ultimately we look to ourselves, and we'd invite you to come into the training ground with us and see what it's like on the inside, because I think what we're doing is special. We believe in ourselves. We're empowered by Renée to create a culture that everyone contributes to, and I myself look at me as a leader within that to have a responsibility with that, and I take that very highly.
So what's actually happening? Is the club in crisis, or is this all noise?
Resource for these types of things. So I think in women's football there is usually some truth behind it. How true, I don't know. My feeling around the club, when I'm around the club, I don't get that feeling. I haven't heard anything from players, and I speak to quite a number of them. I have a good relationship with the club, and I think when the team is not performing to these levels, you're going to try to find something. I can honestly say I spent 12 amazing years at that football club, right? When I re-signed in 2015, I walked into the dressing room and I thought, this isn't the Arsenal that I know. This wasn't the Arsenal that I felt. The energy was different. All my teammates had already left, whereas I grew up at the club where it was very family orientated, very family friendly, and that's why I left after a year. Pedro was the manager then. The culture wasn't great. I think we've moved on from that. I do. I think you get a feeling around the club. Look at when they won the Champions League. There are going to be in teams. Do you think I loved all my England teammates and Arsenal teammates and they loved me? Not particularly. When we won the quadruple Arsenal, two of our teammates couldn't stand each other, but you'd never know that on the pitch. So, I don't know. I think people are looking for something. They love Renée. I've heard all the players saying how much they love Renée. And there will be in the team players that will stick to each other a lot more. That's just the reality. But I don't know. I don't feel like there's a reason. I don't know. I don't think there's clicks. I'd have to do a little bit more digging, but I don't get that feeling from the club.